My name is Max Morgan, and my presentation is on Mount Parnassus. Mount Parnassus is a mountain mostly consisted of limestone. It is a part of the Pindus mountain range, and it exists in Delphi, Greece, and the mainland, and just north of the Gulf of Corinth. The site was incredibly sacred in ancient Greece, as it was the site at which many Greek myths occurred. It was named after Parnassus, who was the son of Cleopampus and the nymph Cleodora. Originally, Parnassus was a place of worship for Gaia, the goddess mother of the earth. Then Parnassus became the site of what are now the ruins of the Temple of Apollo. Apollo disguised himself as a dolphin so that he could lead sailors to the shores next to Parnassus so they could serve as his priests as oracles. Apollo's priests and high priestess would translate his prophecies. Many people would travel on pilgrimages to Delphi to hear about these prophecies through the oracles. Many rituals would take place at the temples as the oracles would fall into a trance and allegedly enter spiritual realms that would bring them enlightenment and prophecies from other Greek divine beings. The Temple of Apollo, the Greek god of music, truth, and prophecy, was built on the slopes of Mount Parnassus by Trophonios and Agamedes around 7th century BCE. The temple was initially built to honor Apollo after he slew Python, the she-dragon, who was supposed to guard the sacred lands of Gaia, with a Hephaestus-crafted arrow on those Parnassus slopes. Apollo named his high priestess Pythia, in memory of Python, to speak his prophecies through her voice to his other priests. And the site does represent the beliefs of the Greeks, as they built statues in the name of Apollo and other Greek gods that they worshipped. Following its sacred origins, the Temple of Apollo has also fallen to conflict and disaster. A century after its initial construction, it was destroyed in a fire around 6th century BCE. It was rebuilt and renamed the Temple of Alcmeonidae. It was named after the Athenian family who managed its reconstruction. The temple was destroyed again by an earthquake in 373 BCE, only to be rebuilt again a few years later. War and violence played many roles around Parnassus and the temple. Before its initial destruction by fire, the Temple of Apollo was under military and religious protection by the Aphicniatic League of Delphi during the First Sacred War against the Salians. Due to its geographic location, the site still remained vulnerable to attack from lands in which tensions still trembled. In 390 AD, the Roman leader Theodosius I, as a Christian, effectively threatened and silenced the oracles at the temple and destroyed the temple as well as most of its sacred statues and items. Following this, more Christians further destroyed the site, intending to completely drive out all forms of paganism. Due to the large amount of limestone on the slopes, the destruction of this temple led to the site to accelerated forms of decay with nothing more than a few pillars. In the 19th century, Mount Parnassus gave rise to a movement in France called Parnassism. It combined Romanticism and classicistic artistic elements. This movement involved art and poetry and was under the heavy influence of classical Greek poets. Mount Parnassus also serves as a major tourist attraction in Greece. Aside from these tourist attractions to see the historic ruins of the Temple of Apollo, a national park was established in the mountain in 1938, as there is a very large amount of biodiversity within its 36,000-acre land. The park's most abundant animals are birds, birds of prey, boar, wolves, badgers, and weasels. There are also two ski resorts, Kalaria and Terralaka. They were both established in the 1970s. So why did I choose this site? I chose this site because I always had a fascination with Greek mythology. Also, I'm Greek myself. Maiaia, which is Greek for grandmother, had her family immigrate to northeastern America from Greece in the early 1900s for work. I've always wanted to learn more about my Greek heritage.